checking in here. How many votes do you have?
Well, Harry Reid is pretty confident that he'll keep most of his Democrats, but they're all jittery. They know that this health care bill is an awful bill, and they know that the American people don't want it, and they also know that the only way to really get this matter straightened out is to get rid of that bill and start over in a bipartisan way and come up with a health care approach that will work, that will not bankrupt the country, nor put so many restraints and problems to the country that we could do that if we could just sit down and work together.
Well, that leads to the next question. If this vote fails and you don't repeal the health care law in the Senate, what's next?
Well, the importance of the vote is to let the American people know who's continuing to back this awful bill. The American people sense that it's terrible. Now, those who are on the dole, or those who want everything for nothing, or want the federal government to do everything for them, they're going to love this bill. But if you talk about the people who got to pay for it, they're really up in arms about it. And I think we got to go from here in continuing to expose this bill for what it is, showing the American people it's just going to cost them arms and legs, and show them that it's not going to work. And I know what their methodology is. About if President Obama is reelected about 2013, he's going to throw his hands in the air, and the Democrats will do that and say, well, it's not working. Now we got to go to a single-payer system, or in other words, socialized medicine, where Washington runs all the health care in this country. When we do that, we'll never get our country back.
But the Republicans don't have the majority in the Senate, so how do you prevent us from getting to the scenario that you just described?
Well, I think merely having these votes lets everybody know that this is not going away. It lets the Democrats know that this is going to be a big, big issue in 2012, where 24 Democrats are up in the Senate versus 10 or 11 Republicans. And frankly, it's an important vote because they know it's a rotten bill. You've also heard from a number of Democrats who have said, well, there are things we ought to change. There are bad things in the bill. Yes, we think this is bad, that is bad. They've already agreed and basically have taken the amendment of Senator Johans of Nebraska to do away with the 1099 offensive over-regulatory problem that would be, the paperwork problem that is for small business and every other business in this country. But that's a very modest, small thing compared to the extraordinary costs that this bill is going to impose on America for, I think, less health care than we've got now.
Just a final question here, and it's a question about time and money and whether or not we obviously don't have enough of either, but there's been some challenge to the Republican strategy here by the Democrats saying that our focus needs to be on the economy right now, building and creating jobs, and we can't just take all the time and money and look at a health care law that already passed through. What's your reaction to that?
Well, they should have been focusing on jobs instead of this health care bill. And we were telling them that. We said, look, let's get the jobs thing straightened out, and then let's work together on health care. No, they thought they had a great advantage with 60 Democrats in the Senate and an overwhelming majority in the House led by Nancy Pelosi, and they were going to stick it through no matter what happens, regardless of how much it costs, no matter how detrimental it is to this country, because they really do believe. These are sincere Democrats, liberal Democrats, who really believe that Washington can do better than the states, that Washington can do better than the private sector, that Washington is the answer to everything. That's their whole mantra. That's their whole approach. And they really believe it. I've got to give them credit for belief. I just think that it's a stupid bunch of beliefs. That's all there is to it.
Well, you always tell it like it is, Senator, and we appreciate it when you tell it to us. Senator Orrin Hatch, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Night has fallen on Cairo and chaos is taking hold.